It's time for the Newsmaker now, and Labour have tried to clarify their intended post-Brexit relationship with the EU after comments from Sir Keir Starmer at a conference in which he said he doesn't want to diverge from the bloc's regulations. Cabinet Minister Michael Gove said the remarks showed that Labour would compromise potential Brexit benefits. But Labour insists his remarks were limited to the areas of food, environmental and labour standards. This row follows Starmer's plans to renegotiate the Brexit deal and to tackle the small boats crisis, with a proposed arrangement with Brussels that could potentially see the UK accept thousands of migrants from the EU in a reciprocal deal. So, is a vote for Labour a vote to rejoin? Let's ask tonight's Newsmaker, politics legend and television personality, former government minister Anne Widdecombe. And what do you think about this? Is Keir Starmer's very public flirtation with the EU by accident or by design?
Oh, it's by design. I've never had any doubt at all. Don't forget, Keir Starmer was in favour of the second referendum. He didn't want to accept the result that the British people had returned, and he still doesn't want to accept that result. This is just a way of tying ourselves to the EU, but by the back door. I don't believe we're ever going to rejoin. I mean, the costs and the political fallout would be horrendous. I don't believe we'll ever do that. But, of course, there are two ways of rejoining. One is that formal way, but the second is simply to stay aligned to Europe. Well, the whole point of Brexit was that we could diverge, we could do our own thing, we would lift up the corporation tax, we would make our own trade deals, which is about the only thing that we have actually done. We would do all these things, and we would diverge, and we would be Singapore on Thames and all the rest of it. And what Keir Starmer offering? Being in the EU without any say.
And how much damage can be done to the Brexit project under a Labour government? How much could they do in the next 5 years, which is irreversible?
Oh, they could do a tremendous amount, because if they start taking out agreements with the EU, formal agreements, and if they do that, then yes, they could do a tremendous amount of damage. Now, as long as we have to actually rejoin, there is nothing to stop a future government gradually reversing that alignment. But we don't need in Britain a situation whereby 1 minute you're close to the EU, the next minute you're diverging from the EU, the next minute you're close to the EU. If you do that, you create instability. We Brexited. We now need to maximise Brexit. And anybody who won't sign up to maximising the benefits of Brexit should not be trusted by the electorate, because it means sacrificing Britain's advantage.
And let me be clear that Sir Keir Starmer has said, and he said this on many occasions, that he's very committed to making Brexit a success. He would deny the idea that he's slowly taking us back in. Of course, it's all about opinions. And Brexit was a decisive factor at the last election in 2019, a clear dividing line with Labour. Can the Tories do this again next year? Can they make the Brexit souffle rise twice?
Well, I don't think the Tories have got a sufficiently good record on Brexit to make it pivotal in the general election. They have got a lot of trade deals, and a lot of those were down to Liz Truss. They have got a lot of trade deals, and I give them that. But what else have they actually done? What advantage have they taken of Brexit? I mean, I challenge them to list what they have done. They haven't even got rid of the regulations that they promised that they were going to get rid of. So they haven't got a record that would enable them to say, look, we're doing this, but Labour want to do that, because they're not doing this.
And briefly, if you can, do you think Brexit will be a factor at the next election, or is it old news for voters?
I think it will be some factor. I don't think it will be the deciding factor. I think people are very worried about their taxes. They're worried about lots of things. I think the economy will dominate the election. Be very surprised if it didn't. But Brexit will be a factor. And Keir Starmer wants to be careful, because the voters in the Red Wall who wanted Brexit won't thank him for just trying to undermine what they did.
And I know you are a low-tax aficionado. There are rumours the PM is hoping to abolish or phase out inheritance tax. However, isn't this just another tax cut for millionaires? I'll let you have a little sip
not
of
at all.
water. Have a sip. That's not gin, is it, Anne?
No, I regret not. Probably will be after this programme.
I wish it was gin. In vino veritas, Anne.
Right, so what have you just asked me?
It obviously is gin. The idea of abolishing inheritance tax, is that not a tax cut for millionaires?
No, it's a tax cut for an awful lot of people. If, for example, you live in London, or you live in Oxford, or you live in any of the very expensive places where property is, frankly, commands silly money, it's very easy to be caught in the inheritance trap simply because you have a house. And you may have bought that house many, many years ago, decades ago, probably, and it's appreciated to something that you never, ever thought would apply to a house that you'd bought. But then it's taxed under inheritance tax, and it isn't just a benefit for the millionaires. I mean, I've long said just abolish inheritance tax. What it brings in isn't worth the hassle.
Anne, have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday. My thanks to former government minister and politics legend Anne Widdecombe. Another swig of the old Bombay Sapphire.
It's fizzy water.
There you go. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. Folks,